Hey there, thank you for stopping by Killer Off-Road Hobbies. This is your host Gary, and today we are doing a full review and my thoughts video of the CEN Colossus XT Reeper 1/7 scale 4-wheel drive monster truck that comes ready to run pretty much anywhere you can find it for about $650. Now I've had this truck various different bash spots. I've beat on it, I've driven it, stock. I've driven it, hopped up a little bit with the ESC tuned. I've had it at the skate park, and we're just gonna go over this truck, and I'm gonna tell you exactly what I think of it. It's got some good and some bad, so let's get into this video, guys. Enjoy. Alright guys, so here we are at my thoughts part of this review video, and yeah, this truck's big. It's got some power once you tune it, and it's got some pros, it's got some cons, but let's just get into it, guys. Let's not wait. So I will start with I guess with the cons, and then we'll go to the pros, because this thing does have several problems once you get it to you that you will have to address sometime in the near future after getting this RC. But I think you're going to be surprised at the end of this what I think overall about this truck. So I went through this truck last night and this morning. I couldn't find anything wrong with it other than a few screws were backing off and everything. So I went ahead and tightened that down. I did notice that all four tires were starting to detach from the wheel, so I went ahead and I re-glued the inside and outside bead. But one of the pros I'm going to say is the tires. I really like these tires. They do really good on all surfaces that I've had this truck on, and I really like how they don't balloon and pizza cutter like crazy, because it makes it harder to do backflips for sure, but you're not constantly riding around on Ford pizza cutters when you're trying to get some speed and do some stuff like that. So I definitely say that the tires are a plus for me, and I really like how they look, and I do like the chrome looking wheels. I know some people would prefer black. I would like them if they were black. I like them how they are. That's not gonna change my mind about them. So we'll pull the top off, and I'll tell you a con. So the shocks.
Yeah. Oh, those are mounted in single shear? Oh no.
The shocks are a con for me for sure. Not only are they not set up to where they bottom out, as you can see, that's full compressed and you can still roll the truck. So not only are they not set to where they actually let the chassis bottom out, but they leak and leak and leak like crazy. And not only that, they came with like water in them, like a really, really, really low weighted oil. I went 50-50 in my shocks, but they just leak oil like crazy. That's just kind of a CEN thing. If you ever had the 8-scale CEN Colossus, you'll know that it was the same way. The shocks just leak everywhere. I had that problem with the 8-scale. I've been having the same problem with this 7th scale, I guess I'll call it, because I said the X-Max is 6 scale, so I'll just call this thing 7 scale. Another pro is the design of this thing. I think CEN going with the twin vertical plate chassis with this thing was beautiful. Not only is all your weight in the middle and nice and down relatively low, but it cuts back on the entire weight of this thing. So for a 6 scale, this thing is super light for a 6 scale, I would say, or a 7 scale, sorry. So that's going to be a pro right there in itself. Like, just the design of this truck, it was designed very well. So So another con is the way the ESC comes set up. I think they should have just gave it the power right out of the gate, because if you don't have the program card, you have to do this like light flashing thing to try and tune it, and it seems like kind of a nightmare. Luckily, I have the program card, so I didn't have to go through that. But I have had people tell me that they had to go through that process, and it was quite, it was quite an ordeal to try and get it set up the way they wanted to. But once it's set up the way you want it and you get the punch up, it's perfect. I mean, this thing has plenty of power the way it is, for itself. It can pop wheelies and all that stuff. So, I mean, it's definitely got enough power. It's got enough power to jump really far, as you guys can see. I'll go ahead and put up a clip right now. Yeah, so you can see you can just huck this thing. So another con is the steering servo. What was CEN thinking with that stupid steering servo? I don't understand. The 8 scale came with like a 500 inch ounce torque servo. It was like one of the sell points of the 8 scale CEN Colossus is you got that awesome Savox servo, the high torque metal geared servo. In this thing, they put a servo in here that I literally wouldn't put in any of my rigs. I got this XJ servo. I got a set of 4 of them from banggood.com, and it has been awesome. I'm now running that same servo. I've got it in my MT410. I've got it in my Axle Wraith project, and I've got it in this. And they do awesome. I'll go ahead and put a link in the description below, so if you guys want to take advantage of that generous offer from Banggood for a set of really decent servos, I would definitely recommend them. So moving on to another pro is just the all-around drivetrain on this thing is extremely tough. I mean, if you see the drive shafts, the front and rear drive shafts, they're literally probably twice the size of the X-Max V2. I mean, they are massive. They have to be at least 10 mil. I'm guessing they might even be 12. They're just huge. And to date, outside of the servo and having to do some, random stuff, this thing has not given me any issues at all. I had that one issue when I first drove it. The assembly error that has nothing to do with the truck. Somebody just forgot one of those little C-clip things, and the drive shaft fell apart. But I got it put back together, and I have not had a single problem with this thing. I'm just gonna say this. Okay, so this truck out of the box needs attention. It definitely needs some work. Like, I would suggest putting this third battery strap to go, across your or long ways on your batteries, because it's got the 2 that go over it, but your batteries will still slide forward or backwards on front or rear impacts. The bumpers have held up good. The motor has enough power once you tune the ESC. Just replace that servo. I like the transmitter. The transmitter's fine. The body post, even though they come crazy long and I didn't trim them till just now, they've held up. Besides the shocks leaking and not bottoming out, like they letting the chassis bottom out like it should. I mean, this thing is a really solid truck, and I'm just gonna say I would definitely recommend this. It does have issues, it does have problems, but you have to understand this is a 1/7 scale 4-wheel drive monster truck that you can get for $650, and it just needs a few small things. And I think for how much truck you get and how much fun and stuff you can do with this truck over an eighth scale, over a 10th scale, this thing will just mash through stuff that those trucks won't even be able to go through. And this thing will just smile at it. It's incredibly durable.
Good. Ooh. That was bad.
It's cost effective. I just give this truck, I'll give this truck like a B minus. Because of all the things you have to do when you initially get this truck. And I don't know if I would suggest getting rid of the shocks, because I don't know if the Losi XXL shocks will allow the chassis to bottom out, because they're actually longer. So I think you're going to be having that same problem where your shocks are bottoming out before the chassis does. But if you're willing to, risk breaking your shocks or whatever, and you don't want your shocks leaking all over, I think that would be a viable option. But I don't think it's necessary. I mean, I haven't refilled my shocks yet, so I don't know how much oil's left in them. All I know is they're still working fine. And, all the components on this truck, the spots where it needs to be tough, it is. And, it's a well set up truck. It has its flaws for sure, but to get a 1/7 scale for, just slightly more expensive than some of the A scales out there, and this being cheaper than a E-Revo or a Summit, basically anything that Traxxas prides itself on. I think this truck is 100% worth the money. I've had it at the skate park, as you guys have seen earlier in this video. I've bashed the crud out of this thing, and here it sits. No broken parts. The only thing we lost was the servo, and that thing needed to be replaced anyways. But I definitely give this truck a huge thumbs up. I would recommend it 100% to anybody. If you want to go out and have fun and have a truck that you can go more places than you actually think it will, this truck is definitely there. It's 4-wheel drive. It's got decent clearance. The tires are good. It's got good power. This truck just works. It does, for what it is, it's really well rounded as a good all-around RC, I would say, outside of probably racing, which I might even take this thing down and go race it with my buddies, because it definitely has the power now. But it's a good truck. So thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it the old thumbs up. If you didn't enjoy it, go ahead and give it the thumbs down. I like the feedback either way, good or bad. It's all good with me, guys. And click that bell if you want to be notified to my newest uploaded videos. And if you're new here and you enjoyed this video, and maybe you want to see some of my other videos or upcoming videos, go ahead and click that subscribe button, and we'll see you here next time on Killer Off-Road Hobbies if you choose to join us. I'm Gary, saying get out there, get an RC, have fun, and we'll see you next time.